Welcome to the True Crime Stories channel, where we take you on a journey through time to explore the most mysterious and controversial crimes. Here, we don't just recount events, we analyze them, search through the evidence, and give you the opportunity to present your own theories. This channel is not merely a platform to listen, but a space for interaction and participation. Today's case takes us to 1996, a cold Christmas night in Boulder, Colorado. The streets were covered in white snow, and the houses were illuminated with bright colors. But in one house, behind the facade of lights and celebrations, a tragedy was unfolding, one that would shock the entire city and echo around the world. That night, the lives of the Ramsey family turned into a nightmare. 6-year-old JonBenét, a symbol of beauty and innocence, suddenly disappeared, only to be found in mysterious and horrifying circumstances. The perfect life she shared with her family was merely a mask hiding a complex mystery that would occupy investigators and the media for decades. In this episode, we will tell you the full story, from the night of the incident to the investigations that lasted for years, from the intriguing theories to the questions that remain unanswered. Brace yourselves, for this story is not for the faint of heart. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate the bell to get all the latest updates. Now, let's begin talking about the Ramsey family and what happened on that cold night that changed their lives forever. The Ramsey family was considered the perfect family, living a life many dreamed of. Father, John Ramsey, was a successful businessman who, through his work in technology, built a business empire that made him one of the wealthiest residents of Boulder. It wasn't just his professional success that set him apart, but also his friendly personality, which made him well-liked in social circles. The wife, Patsy Ramsey, was a former beauty queen, known for her striking beauty and strong presence. Patsy had a bubbly social personality and was always involved in charitable and social events, which further solidified the family's status in the community. But the true gem of the family was their young daughter, JonBenét, a child who captivated everyone's heart with her beauty and innocence. With her shining golden hair and blue eyes, she looked like she had stepped out of a fairy tale. From a young age, JonBenét began participating in child beauty pageants, where she excelled and won numerous awards. She was considered a symbol of beauty and talent. Despite this remarkable success, there were hidden pressures surrounding the family. The world of beauty pageants is not easy. It is a highly competitive arena that requires a great deal of effort and focus. Moreover, the fame that JonBenét gained brought unwanted attention from strangers. Some of these strangers were not just admirers, they may have been watching her closely. These pressures took a toll on the family, even though their life appeared perfect from the outside. Were these dazzling lights and surrounding pressures the cause of the tragedy that befell the family? Or were the secrets hiding within the walls of their large home, in a place no one could have expected? On December 25, 1996, the Ramsey home was filled with the joyous atmosphere of Christmas. The family had returned to their house after spending a festive night with friends and neighbors. That night, little JonBenét filled the house with laughter and joy, wearing the elegant outfit her mother had specially prepared for the occasion. The house was lit up with vibrant Christmas colors, and the sounds of carols added a magical touch. The children eagerly awaited their gifts, while the adults exchanged conversations about plans for the new year. For the Ramsey family, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. It was a delightful night, just like any other Christmas Eve. When the celebrations ended, everyone bid farewell and retired to their rooms for sleep. At that moment, the atmosphere was still filled with magic and joy. But what no one knew was that a shadow of darkness was lurking, ready to turn their lives into a nightmare. The next morning, Patsy Ramsey woke up early, as usual. While descending the stairs to prepare coffee, she noticed that her daughter's room door was open. She felt uneasy, but did not think it was serious. When she entered the room, she found the bed neatly made, but the child was not there. Patsy began searching the house. The living room, empty. The kitchen, no sign. Even the playroom was vacant. With every passing minute, her fear grew. When she reached the table, she noticed a folded note. She could never have imagined that what she was about to read would change their lives forever. The letter Patsy found was incredibly strange. Spanning 3 pages, it was filled with contradictions. The message began with a clear threat. "We are a small foreign faction." But the rest of the text was confusing, making it difficult to understand who wrote it and why. What was most startling was the ransom amount, $118,000. This number wasn't random. It oddly matched the bonus John Ramsey had recently received from his work. Was this a coincidence? Or did the writer know the family well? Even more bizarre was that the tools used to write the letter, including the paper and pen, were taken from inside the house itself. This suggested that the perpetrator had spent a considerable amount of time inside the house writing this lengthy note. The writing style itself baffled experts. The text contained contradictory phrases and phrasing that seemed like an attempt to mislead the police. For example, the letter included harsh threats, but also unnecessary details. The writing style lacked cohesion, leaving investigators wondering if its purpose was to mislead the investigation. Despite warnings not to contact the police, Patsy immediately called emergency services. Panic gripped her, and her only concern was the safety of her child. The police arrived at the house in record time, but the letter was just the beginning of an even larger tragedy. Although the police had been at the Ramsey home since the morning, it wasn't until hours later that JonBenét was found. During another search of the house, John Ramsey decided to check the basement. When he opened a small door in the corner, the shock awaited him. The body was wrapped in a white blanket, and in a chilling scene, duct tape covered her mouth, with a rope tied around her neck and hands. Initial investigations revealed that the child had been struck forcefully on the head, resulting in a skull fracture. The analysis also uncovered signs of strangulation, making the case seem like a mix of violence and asphyxiation. The police called in additional forensic teams to thoroughly examine the scene. There were many questions. Why were there no signs of forced entry? How did the perpetrator manage to move around the house without being noticed? These questions made the case one of the most complex crimes in investigative history. Yet, the answers remained elusive. With no definitive evidence, suspicions began to circle around the Ramsey family itself. The handwritten note was the first point of suspicion. Experts who examined the handwriting noted similarities with Patsy Ramsey's own, but there was insufficient evidence to make a direct accusation. The family's behavior after the incident also raised many questions. In media interviews, the parents appeared strangely calm, leading some to believe they were trying to conceal something. Additionally, there was controversy surrounding the family's cooperation with the police, with reports suggesting they initially refused to undergo comprehensive interviews with the investigators, further fueling suspicions about their actions and motives. One theory that gained traction involved the older brother, Burke. According to this theory, a childhood dispute between him and his sister may have led to her death, and the parents tried to cover it up to protect their older son. However, this theory was never proven, especially after forensic evidence revealed no direct involvement of any family member in the crime. Nevertheless, this theory continued to provoke debate among investigators and the public alike. In 2008, modern DNA testing was used to analyze the genetic material found on JonBenét's clothing. The results showed that the genetic material came from a stranger with no connection to the family. This evidence led to the official exoneration of the family, but it was not enough to uncover the true identity of the perpetrator. Despite these findings, the case remained open. Investigations continued for years, and new theories never ceased to emerge. Some investigators speculated that the crime could have been motivated by revenge or jealousy, with the perpetrator possibly knowing the family well from social events or beauty pageants in which the child participated. On the other hand, others believed the crime was a random act committed by a mentally disturbed person who took advantage of an unlocked door or open window. Almost every year, new evidence or rumors surfaced, adding more complexity to the case. One such piece of evidence was the testimony of a neighbor who claimed to have heard muffled screams that night, but couldn't identify the source. Others claimed they saw a strange person wandering the neighborhood shortly before the incident, though the individual was never recognized. The case turned into a media frenzy, with speculation and journalistic investigations spreading like wildfire. The media left no stone unturned, shining a light on everything from the family's personal life to the criminal investigations. Many amateur detectives and even writers attempted to put forward their own theories about what happened that night, making the case one of the most discussed in modern criminal history. Some theories were wildly outlandish, such as the crime being the result of a mysterious ritual or a grand conspiracy involving prominent figures in society. Though these theories lacked any strong evidence, they reflected the immense mystery surrounding the case that has persisted for decades. To this day, the JonBenét Ramsey case remains one of the most baffling crimes in modern criminal history. The questions remain open, and the theories are endless. Was the crime committed from inside the house? Or was the killer a stranger? And what about the mysterious note that complicated matters further? We want to hear your thoughts. What is your theory about this case? Do you believe there are still secrets that have yet to be uncovered? Share your ideas and questions in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to get all the latest updates from our thrilling stories. See you in the next episode of True Crime Stories.